She texted, "We should see other people," from her girls' trip. So I moved out, packed her things, left them on the curb, and watched her perfect backup plan completely fall apart. I'm sitting in an almost empty apartment that smells like cleaning products. It's quiet now. And for the first time in 4 days, I don't feel like my stomach is twisted into a knot. Instead, there's this weird sense of relief, which is strange considering how completely my life just flipped. Leah and I had been together for 3 years. We'd been living together for 2 of those, in a great apartment we both really loved. Our lease was about to expire at the end of the month, and we'd been talking for weeks about renewing it for another year. We even had a meeting set up with the landlord this coming Thursday to sign the new lease. That detail matters, because last Saturday, Leah left for a week-long girls' trip to Miami with her 2 best friends, Brooke and Alyssa. I helped her pack, drove her to the airport, gave her a goodbye kiss. Everything seemed normal. We texted a bit over the first couple of days, just casual stuff, beach pics, complaints about overpriced drinks, totally normal. Then, Tuesday night rolled around and my phone buzzed with a message that blew everything up. It was from Leah. She wrote, "Hey, I've had a lot of time to think out here. We need to talk when I get back. I think we should see other people." See other people. That phrase, it's like the coward's eject button. It sounds like the beginning of a conversation, but it's really the end of one. It's how someone puts you on pause, keeps you around as a backup plan, while they test out other options without feeling guilty. For 3 years, I was her partner, and with one text, I got downgraded to an option, but I didn't fall apart. I didn't cry or scream. Something just snapped into place. All the little signs started making sense. The way she'd been distant, constantly on her phone, blaming everything on work stress. Suddenly, it all lined up. The pain was there, sure, but weirdly, what I felt most was clarity. She wanted things to be clear. Fine, I could do clear. I stared at that message for a minute, then typed back 3 words. Clarity is good. I hit send. Then I silenced my phone and got to work. The next morning, I called our landlord. I told him plans had changed and we wouldn't be renewing the lease. I confirmed I'd be out of the apartment by Saturday, our original move-out deadline. He was surprised, but said as long as the place was clean and I returned the keys, it wasn't a problem. That's when the packing started. I began with my own things, books, clothes, my computer gear. Everything was boxed up by Wednesday night. Then I moved on to Leah's stuff. And her life was all over this apartment. I packed every piece of clothing, her endless collection of shoes, her makeup, the framed photos of us. I emptied her drawers, cleared out her side of the closet, took down her art from the walls. I boxed everything up and labeled it with a black marker. Leah. Clothes. Leah. Bathroom. Leah. Sentimental. I worked for 2 days straight, running on coffee and cold determination. By Thursday night, the place was split into 2 halves. My life, boxed and ready to move, and hers, packed up and waiting. Saturday morning, movers came and took my stuff to a new, smaller apartment I'd found in a last-minute scramble. Once my things were gone, I started hauling hers out. Every single box, every bag, all the furniture she owned that wasn't built in. I carried it out and stacked it neatly on the grass by the curb. I covered it with 3 heavy-duty tarps I bought, just in case it rained. And just like that, the apartment was completely empty. I spent the next 4 hours cleaning everything. I patched nail holes, scrubbed the floors, made the oven sparkle. Honestly, the place looked better than when we first moved in. At 5, I met the landlord outside. He did the final walkthrough, looked impressed, and I handed over the keys. A friend who came to help snapped a photo of me shaking the landlord's hand. And, for the first time in days, I was actually smiling. Back at my new place, I opened my laptop and got on social media, changed my relationship status to single. Then I posted the photo, the caption. Sometimes you need to close one door to open another. Handed back the keys to the old place, starting a new chapter. Clarity is a good thing. I didn't tag anyone. I didn't need to. Within an hour, the messages started pouring in. First one was from Brooke, Leah's best friend. "Alex, what is going on? Alyssa just saw a post from someone in your old building. Why are all of Leah's things on the curb?" I stared at her message for a second, took a sip of water, then started typing my reply. That was just the beginning. My phone started going off non-stop. Texts from Brooke, Alyssa, and a bunch of their other friends who were with her in Miami. They all basically said the same thing: shock, confusion, and a growing sense of outrage. Brooke, "Alex, answer me. People are literally taking photos of her stuff." Alyssa, What the hell did you do? Leah is crying her eyes out right now. Let me know when you're ready for the next section, or if you want to tweak anything here. We had to tell her, you need to fix this. That was Brooke again. Of all her friends, she seemed the only one capable of forming a full sentence. So I chose to respond to her. I kept my reply straightforward and calm. Hi Brooke. On Tuesday, Leah texted me saying she wanted to see other people. I told her I respected her choice. Since our lease ended this weekend, I moved out as planned and left her things behind so she could make arrangements to pick them up. Her reply came back immediately. She didn't mean she wanted to break up right now. She just meant she wanted to talk when she got back. You can't just throw her stuff on the street, I answered. Her message was pretty clear. I took it at face value. Our lease was up. There wasn't anything else to say. That's when my phone started ringing. It was Leah. I let it go to voicemail. Within seconds, a notification popped up. It was a frantic voice message, barely making sense. She was crying, shouting, accusing me of misinterpreting her words, calling me cruel, saying I'd betrayed her. Another call came in. Then, another. I blocked her number. Naturally, she immediately started calling me from Brooke's phone. This time, I picked up and put it on speaker. Alex, how could you do this to me? She screamed, her voice cracking. My stuff, my furniture, it's all sitting outside. I didn't raise my voice. Hey Leah, the lease ended today. You ended our relationship, so I moved out. I didn't break up with you, she yelled. I said we needed to talk. I was supposed to come back to our home. What am I even supposed to do now? The sheer entitlement was stunning. She honestly thought I'd just sit around in our shared apartment, waiting for her to get back from her little vacation and decide whether I was still good enough to keep. She really thought she could just hit pause on me and come back whenever it was convenient. I told her maybe that's something you should have considered before sending that message. Leah, you said you wanted to see other people. I'm assuming that came with a plan. She made some choked sound, and then Brooke cut in. This is about Zane, isn't it? You're doing this to punish her over Zane. Silence. I didn't know who Zane was, but something told me I was about to find out. I waited. Leah, shut up, she hissed in the background, trying to silence Brooke, but it was too late. The puzzle had just solved itself. Of course there was a guy. Her time to think was just a trial run with someone she'd met in Miami. That message she sent me, that was to ease her guilt, to technically make it okay to cheat, just in case things with Zane worked out. If they hit it off, she could say, well, we weren't really together. And if they didn't, she could pretend it was just a misunderstanding and slide back into my life like nothing happened. She wanted a backup plan. And I just thrown the whole plan and her belongings onto the lawn. I don't know who Zane is, I said, my voice cold, but it sure sounds like you do. Maybe he's got a place for you and your stuff. Then I hung up and I blocked Brooke too. Everything made sense now. That wasn't a girls' trip. It was an audition. Later that night, I got an email from our landlord. He said, hey Alex, just a heads up. I got a really emotional call from Leah. I explained that you moved out legally when the lease ended and that she doesn't have tenancy rights anymore. She was really upset. Just wanted to keep you in the loop. Hope you're doing all right. There it was. Confirmation. My actions were legal, logical, final. She made her choice. I just followed through. She said she wanted to see other people. Cool. Now she was totally free to do that. No relationship, no apartment, no loose ends. Update 2. The week after Leah got back from Miami was like watching a crash happen in slow motion. Her little vacation fling with Zane clearly blew up the second he realized she came with a ton of emotional chaos and literal baggage. Zane had signed up for a good time, not for hauling boxes and dealing with public drama. So now she was back in town, single, homeless, and watching neighbors pick through her stuff on the curb. I'm guessing her friends helped move everything into a storage unit in a panic. I bet they loved every minute of that. Then, after a few days of total silence, which I thoroughly enjoyed, another wave hit me. This time, it was her family. Her mum called, and like an idiot, I answered. She started off with that overly sweet, guilt-trippy tone. Alex, honey, I can't believe you would do something like this. Leah is heartbroken. I kept it short and factual. Hello, Mrs. Donnelly. Leah sent me a text saying she wanted to end our relationship and see other people. Our lease ended, so I moved out. The tone changed immediately. That doesn't mean you get to throw her out like trash. You two were about to sign a new lease. You did this to hurt her. I stayed calm. She ended the relationship. My name was the only one on the lease. I'm not going to be financially responsible for a place when she's actively seeing someone else. Her things were left for her to collect before the lease expired. That's when her mum changed tactics. She needs money, Alex. She had to pay for movers. She had to rent a storage unit. Some of her designer bags were sitting out there. What if they got ruined? Let me know when you're ready for the next part, or if you want this section broken down differently. You owe her for that. I was losing patience. I'm not financially responsible for her decisions, I said. Goodbye. I hung up before she could fire back. Then came the social media blitz. Leah posted this long, drawn-out story to her followers. It was pure performance, vague talk about being abandoned, trust being broken, how she was left alone in her most vulnerable moment. She included a teary-eyed selfie and a dramatic caption about literally picking up the pieces of my life, paired with a picture of her boxes stacked inside a storage unit. She didn't mention me by name. She didn't have to. The comments were flooded with sympathy. Her followers rushed to comfort her and tear apart whatever mystery villain had done this to her. A few mutual friends reached out to me, asking what had really happened. I didn't take the bait and start a public fight. I just sent them a screenshot of her original message, the one where she said we should see other people. That was all it took for most of them to get the picture. Turns out, it's hard to paint someone as the villain when all they did was follow your instructions. But the best moment came when I got a message from Alyssa, the other friend who went on that trip with her. Apparently, she still had a conscience. She wrote, "Alex, I'm really sorry for everything. What you did was harsh, but I understand. Leah was with that guy Zane the whole week. She told us she was going to soft launch the breakup to test the waters with him. Brooke encouraged it. I told her it was a terrible idea. Just wanted you to know you're not crazy." I thanked her. That message was all the closure I needed. Final update. It's been about 3 months since all this went down. The dust has settled completely. Leah's little smear campaign fizzled out once the truth started to surface, mostly thanks to Alyssa and a few others who saw things for what they really were. Funny how a story built on entitlement doesn't hold up when it runs into something as basic as facts. Last I heard, Leah's staying on Brooke's couch. That friendship is apparently falling apart fast. Turns out, Leah's not exactly the ideal houseguest. She doesn't contribute to bills, complains non-stop, and acts like the universe owes her a do-over. She did try to reconnect with Zane, but he wasn't interested in the chaos she came with. And about a month ago, she gave it one last shot. I got this long, rambling email from her. She claimed I owed her thousands of dollars, her share of the security deposit, plus emotional damages, whatever that's supposed to mean. I didn't respond. Instead, I forwarded it to my lawyer. He drafted a clean, simple cease and desist letter. It made it clear that any further contact or attempts to get money would be treated as harassment. She's been quiet ever since. As for me, things are good. My new place is smaller, but it's peaceful. It's mine. A few weeks ago, I got a letter in the mail from my old landlord. Inside was my full security deposit and a handwritten note. "Alex, the apartment was left in immaculate condition. Thank you. Wishing you all the best." That check and that note, that was it. The final stamp of closure, proof that I'd done everything right, handled my business, and walked away clean. And the real twist? Leah got exactly what she asked for. She said she wanted to see other people, so I gave her that opportunity. Just without the safety net she assumed I'd be holding open for her. This wasn't about revenge. It wasn't about being cruel. It was about not playing her game. I wasn't going to sit around waiting to be picked back up when things didn't work out with the guy she had lined up behind me. She wanted clarity, so I gave it to her, a lot more than she ever expected.